Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Conveniently located between Milwaukee and Green Bay in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America, a 4+ mile, 14-turn high-speed road course that has seen it all. NASCAR, IMSA, IndyCar, and more, amounting to over 500 events yearly. Road America's park-like grounds offer amazing viewing opportunities, numerous camping spots, fantastic concessions, high-speed excitement to hundreds and thousands of spectators each year. And next up, to virtually view from the spectacular vantage point is the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Winter 2021 season, round 2 of 8 on this trek of North American tracks. Welcome race fans to Pit Stop TV. As usual, we're live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter this evening. JP Costa joins me in the booth, Corey Rexford on social media coverage, and I'm Emerson Arden. And this is Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the Operation eMotorsport Winter 2021 season. And JP, it is a pleasure to be here with you once again after the absolute insane race that went on down at Daytona. We are looking forward to a great one here at Road America. JP, why don't you go ahead and take us through what Road America looks like and what these drivers are going to be dealing with tonight.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be back with Operation Motorsport, and definitely it's a great racetrack to be back at. Obviously, Road America, we have absolutely massive straights, so slipstream is going to be playing a massive factor in today's race with lots of opportunities. Down at turn 1, turn 3 maybe, and definitely at turn 5, but also a lot of tricky corners. Turn 6, a blind left-hander, the carousel of turn 9 and turn 10. The kink at turn 11 can get some drivers if they're not careful enough. And obviously turn 14, a very, very important corner, as is the entry of the massive front stretch. And definitely we're going to be seeing lots of overtakes, lots of different strategies being played out in today's race with a very tricky track. Obviously no escape zones. Obviously we just have grass all around. We've seen some drivers making mistakes already in qualifying, and hopefully we're not going to see that much, a lot of mistakes into the race.
Well, you mentioned qualifying, and qualifying is underway, but coming into today, let's take a look at the point standings real quick. And of course, the 3 classes outlined in different colors. Blue is pro, green beneficiary, red is open. And let's talk about it. Brandon Egerchik, phenomenal, dominating race at Daytona. And Paul Lindsay, David Levine, they were fighting in most of that midfield. When I say midfield, up there towards the front, though, in the top 10, heavy-duty battles going on up front. The beneficiary class, they were also up there mixing it up. Hunter Reeve with that class win. He'll top Theo Brolsma and Callum Beldam in that category. And we'll look at Chris Bailey, who had a phenomenal run, taking it to Brandon Egerchik there at Daytona. Just couldn't get there at the end. Rodney Campbell second in that category. And Sean Knight rounds out the top 3 in the open category. And tonight we're trying to get a little something organized for y'all. Trying to get an interview in with the communications coordinator of Road America, and we'll see if we can in whenever we have that opportunity. But as far as that goes, Daytona, we can talk about it some more. It was an amazing race. It did 124 minutes, this Operation eMotorsport series, to kick off the winter 2021 season. And Trey Shuttlesworth was on the mic with me for that one. That was a great race, a great call. There was non-stop action up until the pit stop. There was a little lull in the action, but it was still going on in the midfield. There was a lot of battles. Brandon Egerchik, he dominated that race, but it was not easy for him. He was under fire all day long from Christopher Bailey and other drivers in the pro category. Then the beneficiary class, there was no clear winner in that one until the smoke started clearing and Hunter Reeve was at the top of that category. So a lot of fun happening last week at Daytona for the 2-hour and 4-minute event. Here in qualifying, hoping for the same. Tonight's race only 1 hour. We'll see what is in store for these drivers tonight, and qualifying underway, and it is at the top of the standings. Charlie Bass, Dustin Burkhalter, and now sometimes they're coming in as qualifying is underway. These drivers, they have to go through an entire warm-up lap and then a timed lap perfectly. JP, how difficult is it to get a clean lap at Road America?
Well, technically it's not that difficult to get it warmed up because obviously it's a massive track, so the tires do get up to temperature pretty quickly. But obviously it is very difficult because, as we can see, there are no runoff areas. If you dip a rear wheel into the grass on a braking zone or into the throttle zone on the exit of the corner, the car is just going to spin out and you're just going to lose tons of times, and obviously you're going to get the tires all dirty and heated up, overheating. So it is kind of easy but difficult at the same time. It's a very interesting track, and obviously to get a clean lap, if you're behind someone that is as fast as you, you're going to have a massive advantage on the racetrack. As you can see now, Chris Walsh going on pole, over 0.6 of a second quicker than Christopher Bailey on second because he was on the slipstream, so he just got that massive slingshot. He's just using that to his perfect advantage. You can see now he's making a move on qualifying, and Christopher Bailey is gonna now follow him on the rest of the lap. So definitely, probably gonna be seeing both drivers improving on the lap. But that's the strategy on a massive track like this.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, these cars, they aren't like high horsepowered beasts or anything like that, but they can still do a lot of work on a 4+ mile road course. And when it comes to tracks like this that are slipstream dependent like Road America, it can lead to a lot of fun when it comes to battles, and there's overtaking points that are exactly one right after another, but they're spread out, I think, pretty much equally around a track. You can kind of get your runs through the slow corners and then set yourself up for a straightaway to have your shot at an overtake. But as far as qualifying goes, the slipstream has a huge advantage, and I think these drivers are kind of pairing off on slipstream, or maybe there's a little bit of a partnership, because you just mentioned, JP, Chris Walsh went top of the charts by nearly 0.6 of a second. He had Christopher Bailey's draft, then gave Christopher Bailey some draft there on the way to turn 5. Do you think there's a little bit of a partnership going on there, or not to think too much of it?
Well, if there was, they probably would have kept going, because Chris Walsh just completely left Christopher Bailey to hang on the last part of the racetrack. We saw him pulling over on the carousel, and now Christopher Bailey is all on his own, because obviously when you go over the main stretch, you do have that uphill essentially, and you can gain a lot of time with the slipstream, especially on iRacing. So, but I think there's a bit of friendship. They're both on different classes, so they're not really fighting for anything in particular. They're not rivals essentially, but they can definitely help each other out. You can see now Chris Walsh again on the slipstream, just leaving a big gap, just enough to get a small tow, and probably making a difference on his qualifying lap.
Right on. Well, we do have at least some sort of opportunity to get an interview in with the communication director of Road America. I'm sorry, communication coordinator of Road America, Mr. John Ewert. John, are you there, and how you doing?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm here. How's it going?
It's going all right. Want to say thank you for joining us again. You did join us when we were doing the Operation eMotorsport broadcast at Road America in August. So it's a pleasure to have you as a returning guest on the channel and for the series. And let's get right into it. Last time we interviewed you, you were very optimistic when it came to Road America hosting events with spectators. What have been the successes or the challenges of hosting spectators during this pandemic?
Well, I got to tell you, and not really to dilute any of what's going on currently out there in the environment, but we did have a very good season. I think the key points is that our fans were incredibly safe. Everybody understood the protocols, the various necessary means to stay safe. And Road America is an outdoor facility. It's a 640-acre facility, 4 miles and 14 turns. So we definitely were careful, and we definitely were calculated, and our fans were knowledgeable of that, and everybody understood and came through the gates, and we had temperature checks at the gates, and we handed out hand sanitizer and masks, and people were allowed to socially distance. A big plus for Road America is that you're not dedicated to a seat when you come to view a race. So granted, some of the paddocks were closed for pretty much almost every event, as far as keeping the drivers in that, as you say, bubble, and the fans outside of the bubble. But fans were also allowed to socially distance, and if they felt they were too close to somebody or another group that wasn't in their family unit, they were able to spread out. So luckily, we were able to, for our IndyCar doubleheader, have the largest sporting event with fans since the pandemic began. And we carried that through the remainder of the season by allowing fans, and really set the benchmark for every major racing series and pretty much sporting events in general, as far as safe ways for viewing and all of the protocols at the gates and all of the various other increased cleaning and hand sanitizer stations. So it's a testament to pre-planning. We knew kind of what we were getting into going into March and April, and we had some time before our season really ramped up in May and June. And obviously some events got moved around, but by the time mid-July came around, IndyCar came in, and we were ready to go. And then we carried that through with IMSA and NASCAR, as well as World Challenge and other vintage events, and it proved to be very successful. And we want to send our sincerest appreciation to everybody that supported us, from first responders and frontline workers to families in general, and fans and season pass holders, because everybody was very cognizant of the situation that was going on, and nobody really wanted to see racing go away. So we all worked together. As we like to say, we were all different boats, but we were all, weathering the same storm, and we got through it together. And that's something that we intend to carry into the 2021 season. We understand that vaccines are currently out there right now, and we understand that fans are still going to be relevant with being safe, and people are still going to need to wear masks and need to socially distance until all the news reports say that we don't have to anymore. So we're going to ask our fans to continue that, and we hope to actually see more fans this year once people realize that live sports is available and alive and well at Road America.
Rock on. I think that's great that there is the optimism. You were very optimistic in August, and it's glad to hear that it all comes to fruition, and it all happens safely, and it all happens in a manner where everybody can come and enjoy motorsport. Now, speaking of motorsport, Operation Motorsport, I think holds a lot for Road America. I'd say at least you've been here twice, and then you so graciously allow us to use the virtual version of this track in the Operation eMotorsport calendar. What does Operation Motorsport mean to Road America, and or what has Road America done for Operation Motorsport, and vice versa? What is Operation Motorsport, or what has Road America done for Operation Motorsport?
Sure, that's a really great question. Again, we're extremely proud to do whatever we can for Operation Motorsports. Veterans are very front and center with what we do as far as a mission statement. America is part of our name. So giving back to veterans, giving back to frontline workers, first responders, charitable organizations of the like is something that we enjoy doing. We do have veterans discounts for some of our events. Again, we also hosted a very large 4th of July fireworks show last year, which raised funds for Sheboygan County Food Bank, as well as the Plymouth Fire Department and Elkhart Lake Fire Department. We were very proud to partner with the Plymouth Advancement Association to do that. Again, NASCAR Cup is coming 4th of July this year. There is some talk about local fireworks shows. We hope to promote those shows and cross-promote events in the area as much as we can. But it's always great to be able to, even if it's being a guest on a show or donating a prize package or anything like that, to give back to veterans, give back to those who have served our country so well and so valiantly in a volunteer standpoint. So that's what we can do. And Operation Motorsport is a great form of entertainment for a lot of people. It's a great way for people to, that are interested in racing and motorsports to kind of cut their teeth and hone their skill sets and hopefully carry that over into potentially a career, or at the very least have a lot of fun. So we're excited about that. We understand the iRacing platform very well. We have a great partnership with them. We appreciate anybody that wants to race at Road America and scan the track and understand our landmarks and have a good time. It's one of the most challenging tracks out there right now for not only your pavement competitors, but your virtual competitors as well. So it's always exciting to see so many more people get interested in hearing about iRacing and Operation Motorsport and what goes on, and being a chance to get to do that, and then wanting to come out and actually watch the race and cheer on their heroes and get autographs as well. When you see that all really come to fruition for some of our major events. So the technology is fabulous. The detail is incredible, and it's exciting to hear pro drivers wanting to cut their teeth a little bit on our track and understand landmarks and braking points and various aspects of the like, so that once they get in the car, they've got a relevant sense of that, as opposed to just doing a track walk previously, which is what they used to do. Now you guys have spending hours and hours and hours in very, very expensive simulators wanting to just get that one little bit of competitive edge. So it's neat to kind of be able to see, enthusiasts and gamers and various others of the like, and veterans and others getting a chance to race on our track as well as part of Operation Motorsport, and develop that fond affinity for Road America that so many competitors have been able to do, from a realistic standpoint and now from a virtual standpoint. I truly think it is the future.
Rock on. As drivers are on their final lap of qualifying, real quick, if you want to shout out Road America and kind of what's going on in 2021, of course, the huge NASCAR Cup announcement there is huge for Road America. But where can people get tickets and any other fun things going on at Road America?
Well, it's very exciting. I'll keep it brief. RoadAmerica.com's got all the information. We have the most diverse schedule in all forms of motorsports. It's a very simple drive. Come and stay and play at Road America, and we are the safest place to watch a race. So if you're looking for something to do with your family, live sports, if you're into racing, if it's your first foray into something outdoors and exciting in the sports world in this new 2021, as we like to call it, definitely check out RoadAmerica.com. We look forward to seeing everybody here.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ewert. It's great to have you back with us doing another interview at Road America. It means a lot that we can get these tracks involved in already a great cause for Operation Motorsport. But on the virtual side, it shows that that tracks care a lot. The more they can engage with even the sim racers and or the people who aren't able to go to the track in person in a time like this, it means a lot, and it shows that Road America still cares about everyone who can get here in any form. But once again, thank you for your time tonight, and hope you enjoy the race.
We certainly do, guys. We're going to be tuning in, and thanks so much for all that you do.
And that was the communications coordinator of Road America, Mr. John Ewert. And qualifying has come to a close, JP. So it is time to go through our starting lineup. And let's take a look at the top 10 up top. For row number 1, it's Chris Walsh, pro driver, starting on the inside and look to his outside. We'll have driver the number 65, Sean Knight, in the open category. We'll fall back to row number 2, and we'll find Christopher Bailey and Paul Lindsay. Row number 3, it will be Brandon Egerchik, last week's winner, and Rodney Campbell. Row number 4, we'll find Tyler Langenberg and Charlie Bass. And in row number 5, Dustin Burkhalter and Hunter Reeve.
Starting off in P11, we have Trevor Hiller right alongside him, David Levine. Kind of disappointment drive for a pro driver, I would say. But in P13, we have Theo Brosema starting alongside Brock Hogan. Two beneficiaries, so a row of beneficiary drivers. Jason Leach starts in P15 alongside Jacob Williams. Travis Hill starts in P17 right alongside John Winker. Shane Hunter starts in P19, and alongside him in P20 we have Callum Belden.
Rounding out the back of the grid, here we have Brian Winker and Tim Bernard making up row number 11. Row 12, we'll find Glenn Gray and Justin Jarrett. Row number 13, it'll be Brian Burkhart and Jay Gleason. And that is going to round out our field. 26 drivers, 26 GT4 cars getting ready to rock here at the 4-mile circuit in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America, the pace car is rolling, and we are one pace lap away from the action. JP, yeah, what are going to be the trouble spots tonight?
Well, definitely we're going to have to keep an eye out for turn 1 and turn 3 on the first lap. Obviously, a lot of these drivers are probably not happy or 100% happy with the qualifying performance. They're definitely going to be wanting to make up some ground in lap 1. You know, that's the easiest lap, I'd say, to make ground because everybody's so bunched up, so you can get a good exit, but also it's the easiest lap to make a mistake. If you go too deep on the braking, or if you just go a bit too wide, you can always spin or take someone out. So it's definitely going to be an interesting balance of, you know, aggression and caution from these drivers, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if all these drivers are just going to be going for straight out, you know, track position, or they're just going to be playing out the long game on fuel and tire strategy. It's going to be an interesting first lap to see where everybody finishes. the first few, I don't know, 2-3 laps, until the grid gets settled on like a train, and we can see some overtakes for track position and maybe strategies. I don't know, maybe some people working together. It's definitely going to be an interesting race, at least the first few laps.
That is for sure. If we remember last week in these GT4 cars, Daytona put on a great show, and that is a very slipstream dependent circuit. We're here at Road America, another slipstream dependent circuit. So hopefully the action is short of little. I mean, it should be a great night. These GT4 cars, they do provide a nice aspect to motorsport competition. And then, if you remember, this track also does the work itself. If we remember in the last iteration of this Operation eMotorsport series, we ran the Mazda Miatas here, and that was fantastic for 60 minutes. What is another talking point, though, is the strategy. And we're going to be seeing if these drivers will at least have these cars powered coming up the hill to the line this time around.
Yeah, exactly. If you all remember last season, we had a few drivers, even from the lead, running out of fuel in the final lap of the race. So definitely drivers are going to have to take into consideration the track length, because obviously it's an absolutely massive track, 6.4 kilometers. So if you just get one extra lap, it can ruin your strategy. You can run out of fuel on the beginning of the lap, on the middle of the lap, or even at the end. And if you run out on either of those spots, you're probably not going to be making up the hill, and you're probably going to be DNFing the race, or at least, finishing way behind where you should be. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to see, not only the start, but also the second part of the race. If drivers underfuel the car or overfueled, it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for.
So we do talk a lot about the strategy, and that is because these drivers, they have 50% fuel capacity limit, so they can only fuel up to 50% of what these cars can hold in real life, and that is just, of course, monitored in the sim world. But we're coming through turn 12, so we're coming up on the back side of this pace lap. We're getting ready to rock here, and it's going to be Chris Walsh with, again, the open driver of Sean Knight, who is outside. A very pleasant surprise on row number 1. Hopefully more to come this season. But as the field of 26 either Porsche or BMW GT4 vehicles work their way through the elevation changes of this final sector of the course, the iRacing.com Porsche safety car will make that right-handed curve up to pit lane. There it goes. The field in the hand of Chris Walsh. Up the hill, drudgingly we go. Awaiting that green flag drop, and it's dropped. We're racing at Road America.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris Walsh was caught sleeping by the simulator. He unfortunately didn't go on his pace. He unfortunately had to wait for the green flag, and that means he lost P1 and P2 maybe. No, he's definitely going to be sticking up to the inside. Is he going to be holding P2 for now? Yes, he does. The BMW of Paul Lindsay is going to probably back off in for P3, or is he going to try holding around the outside? No, he's not. He's definitely going to back off. They almost made contact, and now he's going to be on the slipstream as they head on the second straight towards turn 3. Paul Lindsay is very, very close to Chris Walsh, probably on the danger zone. He's going to be pulling it to the inside, and he's definitely going to be trying to make a move. So Chris Walsh, a disaster of a start, is probably going to be losing P2 if he wants to be cautious. As we look behind, some drivers are probably going to be looking into maybe a contact. Oh, we have Brandon, unfortunately, avoiding a contact with Christopher Bailey, but looks like the grid is now settled a bit. We have some drivers going side by side, probably pushing each other into the gravel, but looks like we have a very, very clean start here to Road America.
I am very, very impressed, and not to take anything away from these drivers, this track is difficult in those heavy braking zones, so good job on the entire grid to make it through turns 1, 3, 5 pretty cleanly. And now we're working the second half of this course, and we'll see what these drivers have in store. But how about open driver Sean Knight to the point? As we're still working the second half now of the opening lap, he's now not going to run away with this. Paul Lindsay is going to have something to say about this overall race lead. As we work through the kink for the first time at speed, can these drivers hold it in these GT4 vehicles down the run to Canada corner?
Yeah, exactly. It looks like Chris Walsh is going to be having to defend once again now from Christopher Bailey. He squeezes. Oh, they make contact. And then, oh my God, we have a massive crash. We have 2 cars off. Almost took out the leader. Unfortunately, we do have Christopher Bailey and Paul Lindsay, if I'm not mistaken, onto the gravel. That was a disaster. Unfortunately, a small mistake and looks like big damage for the Porsche of Christopher Bailey.
That is insane what had gone on there. We're gonna take a look at a replay, and we'll catch up with these drivers as they work through the kink here. We're watching Christopher Bailey now, the backside there, in that gray number 10 Porsche. And on the run here to Canada Corner, there's going to be some trees in the way, but let's see if we can make out what happened. Oh, a little bit of contact with the 104, Chris Walsh, and wow. Oh, man, there goes the back end.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, Christopher Bailey was trying to make a move on the outside, but Chris Walsh was having none of it, squeezed him out, and unfortunately, Chris had absolutely nowhere to go at that point in time. He was already committed. And unfortunately, just a small tap resulted in obviously a speed boost. Let's say for Chris Walsh on the braking zone, definitely not ideal. And due to the damage model, obviously that was big contact. You can see there just a small tap, and then, yeah, just, I don't know, a cascade effect. And unfortunately, that could be the race for Christopher Bailey. I mean, that was a lot of damage. And we saw the rear wing and rear panel flying off on the tire barriers. So we're gonna have to wait and see to what happens to Christopher Bailey's car.
That was insane. But back to what's going on up front. Unfortunately, we'll see what Chris Bailey can do. He's gonna have to get that thing repaired. But up front, who does not have to get their car repaired is open driver Sean Knight, with the unfortunate circumstances that happened behind him. We come up nearly a lap later, and he's got nearly over a second advantage over Brandon Egerchek. And now look at this. Tyler Langenberg up into third, and I don't want to reference other series too much, but Tyler Langenberg yesterday in the Pacific GT3 Challenge at Imola took flight, and how about another form of flight up the running order for Tyler Langenberg as he tries to chase down pro driver Brandon Egerchik, but he's under heavy attack from Chris Walsh.
Yeah, exactly. He started on P7. He's already up into third position. It looks like he's gaining on Brandon at the moment, and that was a fantastic start by him as he dips a wheel onto the grass. That's commentator's curse. I'm sorry, Tyler. And unfortunately, Chris Walsh goes back into P3. That was a nice start from Tyler. Still, though, P4, that's not bad. He can definitely catch up to Chris if Chris decides to save fuel, because right now Sean Knight has an absolutely, I don't know, he has a 1.2 second lead, so he's definitely out of the slipstream. He can definitely afford to keep pushing, and Brandon is definitely gonna have to push to try and get back into the slipstream. As you can see now, the BMW's backing up. Rodney trying to pass Tyler. Is he gonna try to commit to a move down into turn 1? You can see there just the lift. So he's definitely on the strategy game right now. At least gonna wait for turn 3, where is a more viable overtaking spot.
Now we have a nice little train of cars right here that goes all the way back, I think, through Theo Brolsema. Let me double check. All right, Brolsema's a little ways from this pack, but we got Dustin Berghalter, Charlie Bass, Rodney Campbell, Tyler Langenberg, just barely trailing Chris Walsh. So a nice little group of cars going on here, with a good mix of pro and open drivers. This could get dicey with later on into the race. I think they're going to all take it very easy to start. Oh, but never mind. Here comes an overtake attempt from Charlie Bass up the left side of Rodney Campbell. Can he get the pass complete up the hill? He will clear before we even get to turn 6. But a crossover attempt was made with Rodney Campbell. He'll have to file in line, and he'll hold station in 6 and see if he can defend against Dustin Berghalter. But Charlie Bass with a great pass into turn 5.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very, very clever dive. He just had the nose in just in the right position that Rodney couldn't. Oh yeah, actually Dustin couldn't close the door, right? So that was a very smart pass. He got the move done and defended brilliantly onto the next corner. So he definitely made a nice position. And if you can take a look at your screen, Chris Walsh is the lonely Porsche. We do have a massive BMW train right here. So Chris Walsh, unfortunately, is the only Porsche. I don't know if he has a small disadvantage being on the smaller of the German cars, but definitely going to be interesting to see if he can fend off the other German brand on their charge, because it looks like he's struggling, not catching up to either Brandon or Sean Knight at this moment.
And once again, I cannot stress enough, these pro drivers, they're given the pro driver title because they are really good, or they have real life experience. But real life experience, I assume, means that they're very good, because they're trusted to drive a real race car. Sean Knight is just an open driver on the sim. I mean, he could have real life experience, to be fair. Not entirely sure. But the category of open drivers is pretty much anybody else who does not have a high I rating enough to be considered a pro level like iRacer in a sense. Or don't have a real life racing license that we know of. And so Sean Knight being up here, taking it to all these pro drivers. There's a lot of pro drivers this season as compared to last season. This is great stuff from Sean Knight.
Yeah, definitely. You know, even if you take a look just at the pressure that he's getting, because obviously he's an open driver, he's pulling and just keeping up the gap with 3 actually. No, actually, sorry, 4 pro drivers behind him. So definitely a lot of pressure, you know, for an open driver to be leading on, you know, such a difficult track, you know, such an easy track to, you know, commit mistakes. So he's just leading and just pulling away from 4 pro drivers. He's definitely going to be feeling the pressure if he makes a small mistake, but at the moment he seems to be hitting every single apex, not, you know, losing the card on the exit. So he seems to be doing a great job, and hopefully he can keep this up. Obviously still 50 minutes to go, but look, for the moment it's looking pretty good for that open driver.
Yeah, and I know we talk up the open drivers a lot, and in all fairness, the pro drivers, I mean, they should be talked up, but they're pro drivers. They they can race pretty much in any circumstance. The open drivers, they're pretty much unproven to us. I mean, let's talk about unproven. Dustin Burkhalter last season was an open driver, and I guess they had looked at his I rating, or actually they expanded the pro level requirements to include I rating, that is, you know, at a decent level, or at a threshold, and Burkhalter qualified for that. But Dustin Burkhalter last season stuck it to Chris Walsh a couple times last season, got a couple overall wins, and then last week Christopher Bailey was all by himself in that open category, up in the overall top 5. He was the only open driver in a sea of pro drivers. I think the top 7 were all pro drivers besides Christopher Bailey. So to see another open driver, I think this is going to be great. 1, for the overall racing, and 2, for the open category class, that we have multiple, you know, open drivers going at it in just 2 races when it comes to the point standings. This is great stuff. Remember, Sean Knight came into today's race 3rd in that point standings, about 6 points back of Christopher Bailey. And Christopher Bailey way down the running order after his accident. It's going to be a points shakeup heading into next week's race at VIR.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to have a massive shakeup in the points if it continues like this. And yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, because, as you said, you know, we have a sea of pro drivers. Now we have Theo Brosema as a beneficiary on P7, you know, just holding up David Levine, which is another pro driver. So we do have, you know, a very shaken up grid. Obviously, it comes and goes with performances and tracks where, like, you can be faster, but it's definitely really interesting to see the classes mixing up, and it's definitely great for racing.
Well, speaking of racing, and the driver you just mentioned, Theo Brolsma, was just overtaken by David Levine, so move another pro driver up into that top category. But it's also a mention of beneficiaries, because that's what this is all about. In all honesty, it's about these beneficiary drivers who, you know, get the support from Operation Motorsport and, you know, are really the center of the Operation eMotorsport series. And Theo Brolsma has been the great feel-good story of last season, and is already, you know, in a nice enough position this season to where we'll be able to talk about him a lot more in the beneficiary category as well, or the beneficiary category again. And it's just great to talk about Theo and all the beneficiaries. All of these beneficiaries have their specific story that makes it remarkable for them to even be, you know, a part of Operation Motorsport doing this. And Operation Motorsport is so gracious enough to help out these drivers along with their partners, Recaro and Mobile One, to help make this all happen.
Yeah, definitely. Even though I'm not, you know, familiar with a lot of these drivers, you know, a lot of the stories, because it's not part of my culture, it's nice to see, you know, racing, something that we all love, you know, either if you're watching or racing, you know, love connecting everybody, you know, even if you have experienced what these guys have experienced fighting, and it's nice and it's touching to see everybody having fun and being competitive on the grid, just putting it all on the line for racing. It makes me happy to see, and it makes me happy to work with you guys and to see this stuff.
Well, how about that run Theo Brolsema had on David Levine? He looked like he was going to make an overtake. Maybe he's going to set himself up for turn 5, though. Theo Brolsema on the charge.
Yeah, Theo allowed David Levine to pass on the previous lap. He just let off the gas, but unfortunately it looks like he's kind of regretting that position because he looks to be faster than David on the middle part of the racetrack, and obviously with the slipstream you just get close. But Jacob Williams is definitely ready to pounce if Theo makes any sort of mistake. We saw him getting very close in turn 3, and right now looks like he's just going to be backing off. As you can see now, Theo just getting closer and closer to David Levine, and also if you look behind him, Shane Hunter is also joining the party, another pro driver. So it's a sandwich, have a pro driver in the front. Now, looks like David made a small mistake. Is he going to be under pressure from Theo coming up to the carousel? Looks like not enough. So yeah, it's a pro driver sandwich. We have David Levine and Shane Hunter pulling up the pack.
On board with David Levine now. Let's see what he can do under pressure. Remember, we saw a huge run out of Theo Brolsema to see if he has anything for Levine. Levine kicking up some grass blades there on the inside of the carousel. Again, pro driver under pressure from a beneficiary. What's a better story than that? And Theo Brolsema turning up the heat as we roar through the kink on the run down to Canada corner. And Brolsema, he's under his own pressure from an open and another pro driver. But Brolsema still has his eyes set on Levine. Now, under attack from Williams. They look to go side by side into turn 12. We continue on board on David Levine. Brolsema keeping in touch. Levine wide through the exit of turn 12. Here comes Brolsema up to turn 13. Brolsema trying to cut any of that gap that Levine has in half or more. And he's going to have a huge slipstream down this front straightaway.
Yeah, exactly. Shane Hunter is obviously already setting up an overtake because Jacob Williams unfortunately got into the gravel and lost touch with Theo Brolsema, and now he's under pressure. But as we go back to the beneficiary driver, he's getting a massive run on the BMW. Is he going to be close enough to make a move down into turn 1? Only time will tell. Will he actually make a move or back off? Looks like he's backing off for the moment, maybe setting up for turn 4. We can see there he just misses the apex a little bit, but looks like he got a better exit. Carrying a little bit more speed on the exit part as they head into turn 2, now entering turn 3. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? He hits the apex perfectly. Looks like he's carrying more speed than the BMW ahead of him, so he could be setting up a move into turn 4.
Yeah, I think Brolsema now, I think he knows that he's faster than David Levine, and he's just pressuring him, trying to pressure Levine into making a mistake rather than Brolsema, try to be a little aggressive to overtake and then, makes a mistake himself. He's, taking his time. There's still 45 minutes left in this race, 44 and a half minutes. And Brolsema is taking his time, and either one is going to let the pit strategy do the talking, or two, let, the pressure of being on the back end of David Levine's car. And Levine gets some grass off of turn 7. Here comes the pressure of Brolsema. And Brolsema's letting his car being all over the mirror of that 259 due to talking.
Yeah, exactly. It's just as you said, if Theo Brolsema sticks behind him, he's just going to be saving fuel and definitely going to be jump him on the pit stops. But also, you can't just get holded up. Obviously, David Levine has a big gap to the driver ahead, who is Dustin Burkhalter. But Theo has to play the long game here. Either he has to apply pressure to make sure David gets out of the way, essentially for a mistake, or just take back and allow David to pull him in to Dustin Burkhalter. If David's just faster on clean air, Theo can just use the slipstream to keep up with him. So it's definitely now a more strategy game, and I'm sure Theo knows it, and he's definitely going to be playing that into his advantage.
For sure. And another thing I didn't even take into account is, the battle in the beneficiary class. Theo Brolsema right now is leading that beneficiary class, and his Porsche in 8th position overall. And his next closest competitor is just coming off of turn 14 now. That is Brock Hogan in the 11th position. So he's also maybe not trying to, endanger his class lead. as you know, getting an overall spot on a pro driver speaks volumes in itself. But Brosma thinking big picture here in the beneficiary championship, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, at the end of the day, these guys have to think about a championship. As you said, there are only 8 rounds. They're already on round number 2, so every single mistake is going to count towards the championship. Theo is in a great position right now. He's in P8 overall, leading his class. He has absolutely no challenge from Brock Hogan at the moment, so if he can just keep this position, he's definitely going to be taking a class win. But obviously, I'm sure he wants to take the pride on passing on track a pro driver and finishing ahead of him. I would if I was in a position, but we're just going to have to wait and see what he does on the following next lap.
Up front, the battle for the lead overall has tightened up. Open driver Sean Knight had a near second advantage over Brandon Egerchik. And now Egerchik up to the back end of that 65. Lead tightened up. 3 cars under a blanket. Chris Walsh there in third.
Yeah, definitely tightened up. I'm not pretty sure. Sean Knight definitely made a mistake somewhere in the lap. I'm not really sure. Oh, there we go. I think he just missed the apex on turn 6. And that allowed everybody to get kind of close. Obviously, no re-overtaking spot back there, but, looks like everybody now is bunched up. So Sean Knight lost the advantage of not allowing everybody to get on his slipstream to now the top 3 being on his slipstream. So definitely Chris Walsh is going to be looking towards this battle, trying to pick the right moment to pounce. You can see now the leader is going defensive on the final corner of the racetrack. That could be an error, and you can see there Brandon already trying to make the switchback work. He's going to be side by side as they head up the hill, and he looks like to have a momentum going, so he's definitely going to be taking the lead into turn 1.
Yeah, they're going to be side by side on this front straightaway, and I think Sean Knight, he turned on the boosters. He's actually moving forward ahead of Egerchik. They're going to be side by side in the one. Who's going to outbreak who? Who wants to lead more? Egerchik, and now Sean Knight will let both of those pro drivers go, and maybe he's thinking, hey, I made a mistake. They caught up to me. Now I'll let them battle it out, and if they get into it with one another, Sean Knight will be right back into the mix.
Yeah, definitely, and what a move from Chris Walsh, just absolutely committed on the braking, on the turning, just going for the apex, not allowing Sean Knight to get back on the racing line, and unfortunately that costed him contact with both of them. So definitely a smart move by Chris. And now he has to stay pretty much on the slipstream of Brennan to make sure he jumps him on the pit stops. We're going to have to wait and see if Chris is going to try to make a move, if Brennan can hold the pressure of his fellow pro driver, because not only this is going to be for the win, but for the class victory as well.
The battle back here for 4th, Langenberg and Bass. Langenberg trying to fend off Charlie Bass, but Bass, what a huge send he had into turn 5 to try to get around Langenberg, I'm sorry. And this is going to be another battle to watch for. This battle amongst pro drivers in the 4th overall position.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have to wait and see if they battle or lose. If they want to lose time battling each other, or probably catch up to Sean Knight. Obviously, the open driver. It's definitely going to be an interesting position for both of them. As you can see now, Chris Walsh getting closer and closer to Brandon. Definitely on the slipstream. Definitely looking committed. Is he close enough to try to make a move on Canada corner? Not really sure. He's definitely close enough to cause an impact on the mirror, because definitely going to be applying a lot of pressure on Brendan as they head into the final sector of the racetrack.
I do want to mention Theo Brosma did just get around David Levine. Levine must have had an issue, but we are keeping our eyes now on the overall lead. Chris Walsh piling on the pressure on Brandon Egerchik. Last week, Egerchik, he was the master of the pressure. He was under pressure almost the entire race, but he also dominated. He led, I think, all but 10 laps last week, and so Egerchik not going to be phased as much by the pressure, or so we think. He was under a lot of pressure last week at Daytona, but, didn't flinch. But maybe Road America isn't as strong as a track for him, or maybe he's just well-rounded and he won't feel the pressure. But Chris Walsh, remember, we didn't have too many pro drivers last season, but Chris Walsh in that pro category, he was very commanding when there was other pro driver competition.
Exactly, but you know we have to remember that this track is completely different than Daytona. Daytona, you kind of do have a lot of room for mistakes. This one, if he just dips the wheel onto the grass on the braking zone, that's pretty much it. You know, he's gonna either end up on a concrete wall or a tire barrier. So it's definitely a lot more pressure to soak in because the room you have a lot less room for mistakes. But you know, Chris Walsh is definitely not making it easy. You can see just how close he is. As you can see, there another battle for position back here. Jacob Williams, is he going to be trying to make a move down into turn 4 on Theo Brosima? He's thinking about it. He's definitely committing it. On braking zone, Theo has to leave. No, actually, Theo's making the move. I'm sorry. And he definitely makes the move done. And so that's a great move by him.
That was Jacob Williams on Theo Brosima. And Brosima was 7th, and he got passed by Levine and Shane Hunter. I don't know. I think they got him into turn 1. And then Jacob Williams, I mean, Theo Brosima, he just got eaten up that lap. He just took 7th and then lost it about as quickly as he got it. Still holds that beneficiary lead, though. So go for it.
Yeah, he lost position on turn 1 to Shane Hunter. And that caused him to obviously get a bad run onto turn 3 and obviously lose another position. So that's unfortunate for him. But he definitely looks to have the pace to keep up with the guys ahead. So if he can just, you know, pull himself together, he definitely can make up some ground once again. Because it definitely looks like we're going to have a big battle for P7 in a few laps time.
As well as the race lead continues on, Chris Walsh, is he going to be aggressive trying to get around Egerchek, or is he going to wait for pit stops to let the strategy do the talking and then plan out from there? Of course, these drivers are going to have to pit. We believe it's only going to be once. It shouldn't be any more than one time. But when do they pit? And what amount of fuel do they put in these cars? Especially last season with the scares of running out of fuel and other drivers actually running out of gas. Now, some of these drivers weren't here last season as well, so maybe they don't remember that or, you know, didn't experience that. This might be interesting, but of course, it's a whole different car as well, and fuel might not be as much of an issue. But who knows? I mean, Road America is a big track. Once again, it is hard to calculate fuel for a 4+ mile track. For any track that's really like larger than 2.5 miles, 3 miles, it's very difficult to calculate fuel.
Exactly, and if you're running a fuel calculator and you're just sitting behind lifting and coasting, the fuel calculator is going to think that that's your optimal lap, and it's just going to give you enough fuel to pretty much finish the race. As you can see there, Chris Walsh got really close up to taking out Brendan on the lead of the race. Brendan actually got a tank slapper. I'm not pretty sure that was a bit of net code, but that was really close. You can see now the top 3 are definitely closer, and Sean Knight is definitely just sitting on the back wing, you know, just saving fuel, seeing if he can get an opportunity. Maybe the leaders taking themselves out. You know, he's just buying his time at this moment.
Right, I was just about to say, Sean Knight is back up here, and he's not alone. Langenberg is 1.2 seconds back, and we might have a train of cars happening soon. The top 6 within 4 seconds of one another. Sean Knight looks like he missed a little bit of the carousel, and Chris Walsh has a great run out of the carousel into the kink. Can he keep the momentum up and have something to say in turn 12? He backs off on corner entry, but does he get the run on corner exit? Slipstreaming on the run down the Canada corner. I think Egerchek will hold on.
Exactly. Looks like the BMW has a bit of an advantage on the straights because he was just pulling. But Chris Walsh is definitely braver under braking. I was noticing on turn 1, he's just absolutely every single lap he was just getting closer and closer on the braking. But unfortunately, not close enough to make a move. But you can see they're just trying to get closer each and every single corner, just committing it to the corner. You know, just using the tires, hitting every apex. You can see they're just Christopher Walsh just hitting the apex beautifully. But let's see if he can get close enough. He's definitely close, but easy enough. As you can see now, the first driver dipping into the pits, that's Tyler. So definitely the first driver. Is anyone going to follow him? Doesn't look like it. So definitely a bold strategy for Tyler at this moment.
Yeah, you have to think that maybe he's just pitting now to get some clean air. Or I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, Langenberg, that he was, not towards the front of this group. That was a lot of dirty air. So maybe if he gets clean air and can run as hard as he can find himself in the thick of that battle, maybe even ahead. We'll see. But, of course, he's got to hit his fuel number correctly to be there at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a massive, a bold strategy because if he just hits it wrong, he's just going to be losing a lot of time. He obviously is not saving fuel, so he's definitely going to have to fill his tank up more than the drivers ahead of him. So definitely a weird strategy. Could pay off, if the drivers ahead of him starts battling and they start going side by side and losing time. He definitely could be within a shot, but he's just going to be feeding all the way back on the racetrack behind Paul Lindsay at this moment in time, so all the way down in P17. So interesting strategy, could pay off. I find it kind of difficult, but only time will tell.
Well, let's remember, Paul Lindsay and Christopher Bailey, who Langenberg is sat in the middle of, were in that accident. So, these guys, this might not work out that well for Langenberg. We'll have to see how it plays out before we really say anything. But what we can say is the battle for 6 is still hot, as Shane Hunter, under a lot of pressure from David Levine and Jacob Williams and Brolsema, he's lost a little bit of touch to this battle. But this battle for 6th now, it was 7th before Langenberg pitted. But this battle for 6th, very heated up. 2 pro drivers and an open driver. BMWs of the pros and Porsche for the open.
Yeah, looks like Chris Walsh might be making a move for the lead. He's definitely closer than ever as they head into the final corner of the racetrack. Looks like he's not going to be diving down the inside, but he was definitely thinking about it because he got a better exit out of Canada corner. Looks like both of them hit the apex once again, so it just looks like it's rinse and repeat from the previous lap, just getting closer. But looks like the BMW might just have the legs on the straight. Chris doesn't seem to be getting closer as the BMW just speeds off. Yeah, looks like the setup that Brandon has just has more straight line speed overall, and Chris cannot get close enough on the straights, but he's definitely getting closer on the braking and on the second sector of the racetrack.
No Sotel, these two go round and round the amazing circuit here at Road America. And, they are no Sotel with one another, but it is not a tooth and nail battle. And let's see if we can at least shout out some of the Operation Motorsport partners before we get into Pit Cycles Hardcore. And, of course, let's talk about Recaro. And whether it's on track or iRacing, Recaro Automotive is all about making driving safer and more comfortable and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. Recaro Automotive puts people first every time and is a proud supporter of Operation Motorsports iRacing. Mobil 1, since day one, Mobil 1 Advanced Synthetic Oils have been a part of every Corvette racing win. That tradition continues with the new mid-engine Corvette C8R. Today, Mobil 1 Racing 0W50 protects the next generation of America's sports cars on the track, while Mobil 1 Advanced Synthetic is still found under the hood of every Corvette off the track. No matter where the hood of your Corvette is located, it's always been Mobil 1 from day one. Mobil 1 is the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand, and the Corvette Racing C8R is now available on iRacing for anyone looking to experience the exhilarating mid-engine performance of that car in the virtual world. And of course, Operation Motorsport, the veteran-led, non-profit foundation based in Raleigh, North Carolina and Brighton, Ontario, was founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, and empower. Its mission is to engage through motorsport activities the ill and injured service members and disabled veterans affected by military service, leading to the aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. For more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org, and we'll shout out our Whiplash partners after the pit cycle. But we have just eclipsed halfway here. Some pit stops taking place. I'd say at least 10 stops have taken place, but we still have a good chunk of the field still out there.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the leaders have not pitted. Nobody on the top 5, I'd say, has pitted outside Tyler. And obviously, I was looking at him. He got held up a bit. Unfortunately, it looks like his strategy might be backfiring on him. But, only time will tell. But Chris is definitely struggling. He's definitely not going to pass Brandon on the straight. I was looking at the final top speed, and it looks like Brandon, even in clean air, even punching the air, that BMW has at least a 3 km/h advantage over the Porsche. So Chris obviously has a mountain to climb. If he's saving fuel, he's definitely going to have a massive strategy, but it looks like on track it might be very difficult to pass the BMW.
Yeah, Chris Walsh, he's just piling on the pressure on Egerchik, which, again, did not phase him last week. And I think it's going to be the same story here. And Chris Walsh is either going to have to do it on pit strategy or get aggressive. And he's looking to the inside there into turn 8, but he's not sending it. Maybe he's trying different methods to apply the pressure. But again, I mean, I have to use this lightly because, again, Chris Walsh is a pro driver. But as far as this series goes, this is like new territory for Chris Walsh. Other than Dustin Burkhalter a couple of times where he's felt the pressure, Chris Walsh hasn't really been put into a position, at least when it comes to Operation eMotorsport competition, whereas he's had to try to do the overtaking.
Yeah, obviously last season he was involved in the battle, in the race-long battle. But, you know, it's definitely interesting to see, you know, he's struggling because last season we had equal cars, so, you know, on the slipstream you would eventually get past. Looks like here he just has a mountain to climb because he has to get such a better exit. So he's definitely going to be having to pull everything out of his sleeve to trying to get past Brandon on track if he wants to obviously do that. But you can see there he just gets a better exit, but unfortunately that Porsche just doesn't have enough, I guess, oomph to pass the BMW on the straight. But, you know, he's just trying on every single corner, you know, just trying to unsettle Brandon, maybe on the carousel, maybe on the kink, you know, on those weird corners where we wouldn't see any overtaking. He's just trying to put the nose there to try and unsettle the driver.
Hitting the pit lane, Charlie Bass from the 5th position. We'll see where he comes out overall. And in relation to Tyler Langenberg, I think it's going to be the biggest comparison because they were both in that battle. If Langenberg is ahead of Charlie Bass, what does that mean for the rest of these drivers? Is Langenberg going to be a threat in this race? It, of course, matters how long the stop is for Bass and where he comes out.
Yeah, exactly. That could be a major point on the strategy game. I'm not pretty sure if Brandon or Chris were paying attention to that. But if they were, you know, definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for. It looks like Brandon has made a small mistake on turn 4. Chris Walsh looks like he got the run, but unfortunately had to back off. Just look at how close he got on turn 6. These drivers going head to tail. You can see there just Chris, is he going to try to make a move on this small corner? Is he just puts the nose. You can see they're just trying to unsettle the BMW driver, getting closer and closer on braking, but unfortunately not close enough to make a move. And that's just going to be rinse and repeat every single lap. And Brendan, I mean, hats off for soaking up all that pressure because he hasn't made a big mistake so far as I can tell. You know, that's just absolutely massive.
We're gonna have to give him a nickname of some kind, like Stone Cold. But you know, I don't want to go down that route. But I mean, he is not flinching. This is great stuff from Egerchik to be under pressure the entire season at this point. And here comes an overtake attempt from Chris Walsh up the inside into turn 12. Canada corner, the pass complete. Chris Walsh to the point and to the race lead. And important to note, with Langenberg and Charlie Bass, Langenberg out a huge margin in front of Charlie Bass. But let's also look at the stop times. Tyler Langenberg was stopped in his pit stall for 11.1 seconds to Charlie Bass's 14.6 seconds. And Langenberg is coming up to the kink now, and Charlie Bass is just coming out of the carousel. So that was huge for Langenberg, but does he have the fuel?
Yeah, exactly. That is the main question. And as you can see there, just look at how much the BMW is catching up to the Porsche. You know, Chris had to go defensive just on the middle part of the front stretch. So the BMW definitely has an extra straight line speed, and Chris is definitely going to be under pressure as they head into this second massive straight. We're going to see if Brendan can get a good exit, maybe a bit of the slipstream to try and get past Chris Walsh. But talking about the strategy, maybe Chris should be thinking about pitting soon if he loses position, because as we're approaching 23 minutes till the end of the race, now Brandon is going to be trying to save fuel behind him. So the whole strategy that Chris had of maybe saving fuel for the past 25 minutes behind Brandon could backfire on him. You know, we cannot tell how much these cars are consuming. Obviously the Porsche might consume a bit less than the BMW or vice versa. So it's definitely going to be an eye out. We're definitely going to have to keep an eye out for both of them.
a lot of the top 10 had hit pit road there, along with David Levine and Phil Brosima and others hit the pit lane. We still have Shane Hunter and Jacob Williams still out there. Do they come this lap? But I think with a couple more people in the top 10 hitting the pit lane, and Chris Walsh getting some grass off the carousel exit down to kink, going to be under heavy pressure. We'll see if he can hold on. Will the overtake be remade from Brandon Egerchik? But I believe pit stops are in the coming lap or 2 laps or so. And heavy defense from Chris Walsh in the Canada corner.
Yeah, Chris has to go defensive. The BMW just has an extra straight line speed advantage, and you can see there just the BMW was gaining all throughout the straight. You know, even on small straights, the BMW seems to be catching. Obviously, that could be due to the damage. I just remember the damage that Chris has on the front part of the Porsche due to the first lap contact. That could be hurting his straight line speed, but looks like both of them are diving into the pits, so that's going to be interesting to see who has saved more fuel, if Chris is going to fix that damage, who is going to be optimizing the pit entry and pit exit. This is very exciting, even though it's only at 70 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, the Road America pit lane is one of the slowest pit lanes in the nation when it comes to road racing circuits. It's slow and long, and that is a driver's nightmare because you really have no control. You see cars whizzing by you on that front straightaway the entire time you're rolling down pit lane. But also following them in, Dustin Burkhalter, Jacob Williams in the pit lane. Staying out, Sean Knight, Shane Hunter. So we're going to be watching the lead here. Down in the ways the BMW and the Porsche to the line. Chris Walsh is ahead of Brandon Egerchik, but for how long in traffic? They got to watch for traffic. They're merging out with the 45 there. The 45 of Glenn Gray is 1 lap down, and he'll let them fight. They come out 3rd and 4th. They come out ahead of Tyler Langenberg, who's coming into turn 2 now.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the strategy might have paid off for Tyler, probably jumping up Sean Knight on the coming laps, but I don't know if the people back home saw that, but Chris Walsh definitely took a fast repair to fix that front bumper. That might have been the cause of the slow straight line speed. Only time will tell, but he definitely had some damage on the front bumper of that Porsche. But he definitely got that fixed right now. So obviously right now it's just a dash to the end. You know, you definitely have to keep hold of track position. So we're definitely gonna see a very, very strong attack from Brandon. As you can see there, Chris Walsh already putting some wheels onto the grass, filling up that BMW grill full of dirt. But, you know, Brandon's definitely going to be piling that pressure now, paying back for what Chris did to him on the past 25 minutes.
You know, that is very, very important to detail. It was that fast repair and the damage Chris Walsh had on the front end, because that front end was caved in. I mean, you say some damage, it was caved in. And, you know, that was, of course, with the contact with Christopher Bailey down in Canada corner on the opening couple laps. So that had huge dividends on this race. We'll see if Walsh is able to hold on. Now he's going to be under the pressure. Plus, he kind of has to relearn how to drive the car. Of course, he could have put in so many practice laps, but driving the car in one way for 30 minutes or so, you do have to get reacclimatized a little bit, and it might be a flip of a switch for Chris Walsh. But we'll see here on this out lap, and we are still waiting Sean Knight to come pit lane. He is stayed out with Shane Hunter. This is some crazy strategy that those two are pulling off, but this is the battle for the theoretical lead and what would be the overall lead between these two drivers. And let's take a look at the weather for today's race. Air temp 86 degrees Fahrenheit. That track temp, these drivers, they mentioned in sim, it is August. It is hot, 118 degrees Fahrenheit. That's that's very hot in Celsius. I don't know the exact conversion, JP. And then 6 mile per hour winds, not too much of an effect, but could have a little bit. But 117 degrees Fahrenheit, that track temp. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, exactly. For the Celsius watchers, the track temp is 47 degrees, so it's kind of hot. Could be a bit slidey, probably not as much, you know, nearly 50 degrees on the track is not the most pleasant. Chris Walsh was mentioning in practice that track, you know, got 20 degrees hotter between practice and qualifying, so definitely took some readjusting. But as you can see now, it probably got a bit hotter with the cars flowing around on the racetrack, and you can see they're probably not enough on the quick fix. Sorry, I forgot the name. The fast repair for Chris Walsh, because it looks like that Porsche is lacking straight line speed at the moment, and he's definitely gonna have to be pulling every single card up his sleeve to try to hold Brandon to keep that race lead for now, obviously, and trying to get obviously his first overall race win of the season.
So we'll keep tabs on this, but let's not forget about this huge battle back here that consists of Paul Lindsay, Tyler Langenberg, Christopher Bailey, Charlie Bass, David Levine. There are so many cars back here. Actually, Levine is a little bit away from that battle. But Christopher Bailey, Tyler Langenberg, and Paul Lindsay, and Dustin Burkhalter. Those 4 drivers nose to tail for the 5th position in what could be a podium battle with, Sean Knight and Shane Hunter. We'll see where they come out. We're still waiting. I'm hitting the pit lane, and how about now for Sean Knight? We still have Shane Hunter out on the track, but he's coming through the final sector now. But race leader, open driver Sean Knight started 2nd, led some laps early. Is this the strategy call that's going to put him out in front? This is going to be the least amount of fuel any driver is going to have to take to make it to the end. And what will it be on the result for Sean Knight? And we still await a Shane Hunter pit. Shane Hunter wants to get himself a lap led as he stays out another go around.
Yeah, just as you were watching that, you can see there now Sean Knight diving into the pits. Christopher Bailey is also going to be diving to the pits for the 2nd time this race. Unfortunately, Dustin Burkhalter made a mistake on the kink and it made him lose 3 positions. Obviously, now he just gained 1 back, but unfortunately, he lost the position to Tyler on the kink, and looks like Sean Knight is going to be feeding right behind Dustin Burkhalter, so definitely staying out didn't pay off for the driver. Maybe his pit stop was a bit too long. Maybe he had to save a bit of fuel to actually make it to his pit box, but definitely didn't pay off for the open driver. Was actually running 3rd. Now he's going to be behind Dustin Burkhalter in P6.
Yeah, a lot going on. We're going to wait for everything to cycle out, but Bailey and Paul Lindsay pitting once again. I was shocked that Christopher Bailey pitted again, but I guess he had damage and, took his fast repair earlier, but that was not at a point where he could have made it on fuel. So I guess that does make sense when I think about it. I speak about it out loud, but it's still crazy. And Shane Hunter, just out of nowhere, I mean, he's a pro driver, and we expect him to be up here, but we haven't mentioned too much about him other than him being a part of a battle in the middle part of the top 10. But Shane Hunter on some strategy, getting himself some TV time and potentially a lap lead. He did not lead at the start-finish line, so he has not led a lap yet, but trying to in that number 927 BMW.
I mean, worth mentioning, he started on P19, so he's running 2nd right now, so he gained 17 positions. Granted, he has to stop for fuel eventually, but, just running a quiet race, he made his way all the way up to the top 10, probably could be a top 5 if he keeps going, because he has probably a few seconds gap, I'd say a 5-6 second gap to Chris Walsh, so he definitely could be running on the top 10 after the pit stop, so definitely a quiet yet efficient race for him, I'd say.
And he's gonna come in now. I don't think he's gonna get a lap lead, just because of where Chris Walsh is on the racetrack. We'll watch the start-finish line, and we'll see. As Chris Walsh is coming up the hill now, I don't think he's gonna get the lap to the line.
It's gonna be close.
Oh no!
Oh, he just missed it.
Oh man, that's gotta hurt. He did not get that lap. And Chris Walsh does. Brandon Egerchek not too far behind, but Walsh, he opened up his gap in the middle part of the course. The more technical section of the course. That was nearly 0.8 of a second. Of course, the straightaway closed Egerchek down to 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, you can see there just the difference
Whoa.
in straight line speed from both drivers. As you can see now, Egerchek is definitely going to be getting closer and closer, but looks like he's keeping up with Chris. Chris had actually pulled a bit of a gap, but unfortunately lost a bit of time, and he's definitely back under pressure from the BMW. He cannot get rid of that German machine. You can see there under braking, looks like he just got a bit loose, but could manage to get it under control. And once again, now the Porsche this is where the Porsche shines, a bit of a twisty section, light nimble, and Chris Walsh definitely has to pull a bigger gap if he wants to keep that position.
And want to mention real quick, thus far, that was the 4th lead change. If Shane Hunter could have gotten that lap, that would have been the 5th lead change. Yes, it still would have been 5 because Chris Walsh still took the lead from theoretically Sean Knight that past lap. But we could have had that 5th lead change right this upcoming lap, but Hunter was just inches away from the line in comparison to Walsh and Egerchek. And that one's got to sting. But 13 minutes to go. I saw a battle brewing back in the field. I think Brian Winker and Jason Leach were going at it. I want to shout them out, of course. Leach, of course, a huge part of what goes on here. He, is running this entire series, and he does a lot of work for Operation Motorsport. And wanted to see if he was going at it with Brian Winker, getting him some TV time in the heat of battle. But nonetheless, we'll shout out that 22 a little bit here, in that number 22 black and red Porsche. Love the I think that is the American flag on his roof. Very nice little livery Jason Leach has here.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice. Kind of stealth, but kind of shines in the sun. Very nice. Very I guess simple, but yet striking livery. Very nice. And just out of looks like we have a few drivers on the grass. Just out of quick curiosity, the gap to Shane Hunter was 1.1. He didn't let a lap for the gap, a small gap of 1.1 seconds. But as you can see now, we do have a few Porsches with damage. Who is that? That's the number 41 of Travis Hill. Looks like he has a bit of damage on the front bumper of the Porsche. Maybe a bit of contact, maybe a wrong bump. You can see there. Looks like he's struggling a bit of pace right now. So that's kind of interesting to see what happened to him.
Yeah, he was in the heat of a battle, and let's go back and we can try to figure out what happened here. Let's see, can find a replay. And this is coming through the kink at fastest lap, Chris Bailey. After all this, and he just kind of went off track. He was under pressure from Christopher Bailey, and he'll continue on. He lost a couple spots there to Bailey and Theo Brolsema.
Yeah, looks like as we wind out to the battle of the lead, Brendan actually tried to make a move down into turn 4. He actually got side by side, but Christopher Walsh was having none of it. He just took around the outside and said, well, you're not having this position, at least not now. And Chris is definitely using absolutely everything out of that Porsche to keep that BMW behind, because I was looking at the speed traps, and Chris Walsh, at the end of the front stretch, his car was 11 kilometers per hour slower than the BMW of Brennan. So he's definitely pulling everything he can on the final few corners to actually stretch that gap, to actually have a chance to defend on turn 1. So this is definitely interesting. Brennan could be biding his time. Obviously, he only has 10 minutes left, so if he wants to make a move, he has to make it now.
That's for sure. Time is running out, and before time does run out, do want to shout out the Whiplash partners if we can, but this is too good to leave. Maybe we'll let this play out a little bit more. We'll see what the advantage is here on the straightaway, and yeah, let's ride on board with Brendan Egerchek as he tries to close that gap down between himself and Christopher Walsh. The slipstream, the power, the oomph, as JP calls it, and he backs off there. Egerchek, he does not want to send it into turn 1. So I think that's a safe sign that we can shout out some of the Whiplash partners. But actually, real quick, JP, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he probably just waited because turns 1 might not be the best opportunity. You can see just how close he is on the exit of turn 3 right now. So I think he's just waiting for turn 4 because it's a more viable overtaking spot. You can see there just the BMW catching up every single time. Chris has to go defensive. Brendan is going to try to be going the long way around the outside. He's going to be braver on the brakes. He has the car side by side. He's going to be trying to switch back. But it's not effective. He has to wait right now. So probably making the move down into turn 1 was the smart choice. Unfortunately for him, didn't work out, and he has to stay looking at the rear bumper of the Porsche for at least half a lap.
Right, and once again, Christopher Bailey, he is on it. I know he's not in the thick of the battle up front. He's just outside the top 10. By the way, he's 11 for Christopher Bailey. But he goes fastest lap again. Good on him. This is That should be fun to watch if we can just get some hot laps of him. He's kind of in the middle of nowhere when it comes to it. He's got cars behind him and cars ahead of him by a decent little gap. But checking up on this battle real quick once again, Shane Hunter, David Levine, Jacob Williams still going toe-to-toe here. This going on for 7th. Oh, and cars coming together almost to a stop. John Winker and Hunter Reeve. They were almost stopped in turn 5 together. That'll be interesting. I want to take a look at that. What went on down in turn 5?
Well, looks like we do have a lot of respect for the drivers, because if you're coming to a standstill in the middle of the corner, you're just leaving a lot of room. As you can see there, the 2 Porsches going at turn 3 looks like, I am assuming he's gonna miss his braking point, as he's gonna be diving down the inside of turn 4. Let's see.
The sand.
Yeah. Looks like he just missed a bit of the braking point, and unfortunately, yeah, he had absolutely nowhere to go. And wow, yeah, that was close on the re-entry of the racetrack, because he had none of it. He was just giving absolutely no room, but he made a move. So looks like he's not letting him through, at least not now. Well, good on him. That was a nice dive. Daniel Ricciardo will be proud.
That was a little ambitious from a pro driver on a beneficiary, but right there, Hunter Reeve gets back by Travis Hill. No, I was just saying that was that was a send. That's for sure. That's what that was. An absolute send from the pro driver Travis Hill. But the battle for the lead is heating up once again, side by side, and Egerchek gives it up once again up the hill. We wait another lap.
I'm not completely in line with Brendan's thoughts, because he's trying to pull the switchback on Chris, which would make sense, but unfortunately he cannot get the car turned in to the apex, so he's just losing time. I'm pretty sure he just has to commit to the outside line and trying to squeeze Chris into the apex, so he has to carry less speed. At least that's what I would do in his position. Obviously, you know, he still has 6 minutes. He knows he has a straight line advantage, but you know, you have to make the move sooner than later. We saw that Chris couldn't make a move on the straights on Brendan because of the lack of straight line speed. So, you know, for me, Brendan is right now just has to make the move, you know, just has to get a good run, dive down the inside, or stick around the outside to try to force a move onto the lead of the race.
So, evaluating these two, if we're coming to about 3 laps to go this time by, what is, you know, sound the alarms, last ditch effort? Is it this, you know, turn 12 final lap, or do you think he has to do it in turn 5? Or what do you feel, or do you think he has to do it before he even starts the final lap?
Obviously, ideally he has to make as soon as possible, because, you know, he has to know that he has a straight line advantage. You know, you can see there just the gap that Chris has. You know, just take a look at how much the BMW is going to be crawling in. But obviously on the last lap, you know, if he gets a good run out of the kink, he has to send it on the inside. You know, he has a massive gap. They have over 10 seconds to P3, so he can afford to make a mistake. You know, go big or go home, in my opinion, because if you don't get past Chris, you're going to finish in 2nd place anyway, so might as well, you know, trying to make a last ditch effort. Obviously not taking them both out, but you know, right now I feel like he has to make the move as soon as possible to guarantee his position on the lead of the race.
Say that a little louder. Tyler Langenberg would love to hear that with these two leaders going at it, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Major respect between one another. Chris Walsh, we saw him ride behind Egerchek for as long as he did, and look at the room that Egerchek's giving Walsh, even trying to overtake. So massive respect between both of these drivers now. With under 5 minutes remaining, I can't see it happening unless it's by complete accident.
Yeah, looks like Brandon's getting decent runs on the middle part of the racetrack, which is definitely, you know, looks like Chris is actually making a few mistakes. So I don't know, could be a bit of tire wear, could be a little bit of pressure. Obviously the race is getting close to an end. Less than 2 laps after this one. So, you know, Chris, obviously he knows he's on the back foot. You can see they're just washing the car out wide, trying to get a good exit as they headed towards the kink. So definitely Brandon's going to be looking at this opportunity, trying to make a move. He's less than half a second away from him. Look, if he's committed enough, he could make a move right here, right now, but it looks like he's not close enough. Not yet, at least. So it's definitely going to be close to the end if he wants to make a move to try and win the race.
Real quick, pitting once again is Paul Lindsay. Not entirely sure. There's no damage on that car from what we can see, so this has to be a fuel stop. But this is a long stop. He's in there for over 50 seconds now. So, but back up front.
Could be paying a penalty, maybe?
Possibly. You know, I'd have to think that's it. Maybe incident points.
Yeah, because they have an instant limit of 22, and then they're going to have a penalty. So if he exceeded the limit, obviously he's going to be stuck in a pit stop. But, you know, looks like, there we go. Looks like Brendan's getting a massive run on Chris. Chris is going defensive. Brendan's going to go around the outside. He's going to commit to the outside line. Looks like he is. Yes, he's on the bumper. He's going to be going around the outside now as they head into turn 2, which is not really a corner, but also turn 3. Brendan now has the edge on the outside line, but Chris is braver on the brakes. Brendan's going to be trying holding and rowdy outside. They're not going to make contact, and now we're going to see the BMW stretching its left. There's absolutely nothing that Chris can do, but just look to his left and see the BMW just going away into the sunset. Now Chris is going to be hopping on the slipstream. Is he going to be trying to make a move down the inside? Looks like he is. Is he close enough? No, he isn't. Absolutely perfect driving for Brendan. Looks like Chris is trying to put his car in a position to try and make a move, but on that corner is absolutely impossible unless you're side by side. And Brendan now has taken the lead on the second to last lap of this race. That was absolutely brilliant by him.
Are we setting up for 2 amazing sports car finishes 2 nights in a row? If you missed last night's Pacific GT3 Challenge at Imola, what an event that was, and what a finish that was there at the end between Beats and Webb. But here we go here with the Operation eMotorsports Winter 2021 season round number 2 of 8, and it's coming down to this as we come around, potentially seeing the white flag this time by Egerchek, Walsh going toe-to-toe, and so clean between the two. This is the hardest and cleanest racing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely not even a small touch between them. They just gave each other room every single corner. You know, Chris could have squeezed Brendan out in so many different occasions. As you can see now, a lost BMW on the gravel. Sorry, that was Rodney Campbell, an open driver. And unfortunately, it looks like he made a small mistake. But you know, Chris could have squeezed Brendan out in so many occasions, but chose not to. And you know, definitely, he's in a position now to maybe, thinking back, okay, I could have squeezed him out, probably kept my lead, but looks like Brendan now was having none of it and is just thanking him for the clean racing and just walking away with the victory.
Final lap here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America 14-turn high-speed road course, clocking in at just over 4 miles in length. Final lap. Will it be Egerchek? Will it be Walsh? Egerchek trying to go back-to-back in the pro and overall category. How about Sean Knight having a great day in the open category, and looks like the highest running beneficiary coming to the final lap is Theo Brolsema. But this looks like actually a battle back here for the beneficiary category between Brock Hogan and Theo Brolsema. So we'll keep tabs on this as well, as Brock Hogan is blinking. And this is huge as they start their final lap in the beneficiary class.
Yeah, also, I was just going to look at Theo Brolsema to see where he was on the racetrack, and he was fighting side by side with Brock Hogan. Now you can see there are 2 Porsches going into the final lap of the race. We're going to see if Brock Hogan has enough juice on that car to try to make a move. Looks like he just missed the apex on turn 1. That's not going to be helping him on his challenge to win on the beneficiary class. Looks like he may be a bit too far away. If Theo can keep it clean throughout the lap, he probably should have this set up, but Brock Hogan is definitely not going to be giving up. As you can see now, back on the lead of the race. Sorry, Chris Walsh is definitely pushing absolutely every single horse out of that Porsche engine, trying to claw himself back into the lead of the race. You can see now he's closer than ever. Is he going to be committing into the kink? Looks like he is. Ooh, they both get very close though. That was the car.
Here we
And now,
go.
is Chris Walsh going to be diving down the inside on Canada corner? Is he? No, he's
He
not
can't
close
get there.
enough.
Does he have anything through 13 and 14? Slipping and sliding through the very hot, hilly Wisconsin countryside. Here we go. Final corner, last ditch effort, descend from Chris Walsh. Contact. Chris Walsh is going to go around, and it'll be Brandon Egerchek climbing up the hill in that BMW GT4. What a last lap. They finally made contact in the final corner, and Egerchek will go back to back. And let's take a look now at the beneficiary category as they are duking it out. Who's going to get the beneficiary class win? This is Brosima. He's actually catching up to the lap vehicle of, that would be
Glenn Gray, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's Glenn Gray.
Yep.
Now, is it that gonna slow him down? We can see now Shane Hunter also slowing down a bit. Brock Hunter unfortunately got slowed down by Glenn Gray, who might have given the win to Theo Brosima on the beneficiary class. As you can see now, Brock Hunter is definitely gonna be going around the outside. That's not ideal for him. Yeah, Theo Brosima has this in the bag unless he runs out of fuel. Sorry. Yeah, looks like he just has this in the bag. So a victory for Theo Brosima. Chris Walsh holds P2. After the small mistake, and what a finish that was, Emerson.
Yeah, Chris Walsh did get up and going. They had about 10-12 seconds to Tyler Langenberg. I bet Langenberg heard that they had crashed, and he was on it trying to get there, but Egerchek had no trouble at all. He kept the car straight. Walsh got the car going, and he'll finish second. Langenberg third overall. Sean Knight with the open class victory, and donuts going on for Brandon Egerchek down here in turn 5.
Well-deserved donuts, starting in P5, won the race, soaked all the pressure from Chris Walsh, made a move on the second to last lap, round the outside nevertheless, and now, you know, he can enjoy some virtual champagne on this victory because that was absolutely well-deserved. You know, Chris Walsh tried absolutely everything he could, to try and make a move. Even trying to dive on the final corner of the final lap. We rarely ever see dives down there. He almost made it work, but unfortunately spun his car around. You know, fantastic effort from both of them.
Well, we're going to go to break real quick. We'll get interviews with the 3 class winners. Don't you go away. Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the Operation eMotorsport Winter 2021 season. Round number 2 in the books, and it was a wild one.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Road America, virtual Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We're back here with the Operation eMotorsports Winter 2021 season round 2 post-race show. Road America was an absolute thriller amongst that finish there with Brendan Egerchek and Chris Walsh, and the beneficiary finish with Shane Hunter and Theo Brolsma. We'll talk to those class winners coming up right now, and let's get right going. We'll have Brendan Egerchek with that thrilling victory. And Brandon, talk about it. Those final laps, what's going through your mind?
Oh, a whole lot of sweat. Oh, I am physically exhausted right now. He's fast. I've seen what he's capable of from previous seasons, and having raced with him in the opening test race that we had. The balance between these cars, though, having the BMW on the straightaway is a thing of beauty, but having to pass him and set it up is, it was just mentally exhausting. I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Fair enough. So let's go. 2 weeks in a row, you are under heavy pressure the entire race. Last week at Daytona, and then this week at Road America. I mean, what is it about you that you can just handle being under pressure for so long and not really make a mistake?
I think that latter point is the piece, not making a mistake. I would think that I'm far from the fastest guy here by any means. I don't know if I'm even a top 5 competitor, but in races like these, I mean, keeping it clean, keeping the shiny side up is just the most important part. I try not to focus on making passes that are irrational or not. I hated to see what happened in Canada Corner on that first lap there, because that was a lot of good competitors, and I probably wouldn't be here talking right now if some of those weren't taken out. So I think attrition and just keeping your head on a swivel for the whole 60 minutes is the most important thing.
Fair enough. And then, so we talked about that side of it. Then you being behind Chris Walsh for so many laps, pretty much to that pit stop. He was obviously damaged. What's going through your mind being behind him that entire time, you know, not being aggressive with the overtake and all? I assume you were waiting until you got later into the race to really do something about it, but what's going through your mind riding behind him for so many laps?
Yeah, I wanted to force him into a mistake. That's kind of the way I wanted to go about it. I just tuck up behind him on the straightaways. I'm not going to make it look. I want him to know that I'm there, and if he wants to overdrive the turn, that's his decision. But I didn't want to pit with him. I wanted to do the opposite of him there, but he made such a late decision that I was already kind of committed behind him. But yeah, forcing him into a mistake, and that pass was the side-by-side with him was immense. I hope you guys had a great time up there watching that, because that was a ton of fun behind the wheel.
That was fun. It was always something to watch, especially at the front. How do we feel about VIR? Can we go 3 in a row?
I don't know. That's a tough one. There's a lot of disadvantage, I think, for the BMW with all the winding, twisty sections. The 2 straightaways is all I really got there on a BMW. So I think the Porsche is probably going to prevail there. But it's, again, yeah, keep it on the track, drive it all 60 minutes. That's the way I'm going to go about it.
As you should. Congratulations on a second win on the season in as many races. And then, you know, I think this one wasn't as dominant as Daytona for sure, but the way you were leading under the pressure was pretty dominating. So who do you have to shout out, or who do you have to thank for your run now 2 wins in a row?
I thank you guys for putting on the show that you do. I watched the broadcast a couple weeks ago. It was beautifully done, and it was a ton of fun to watch again up there at Pit Stop TV, and obviously Operation Motorsports and Recaro for what they do. But some of my friends over at Air Force Gaming, with whom I found out about this league and everything that you guys do. So I probably wouldn't be here without some of my peers there. My friend Chris Walsh was over there too. So small world, and I can't wait till next time.
Rock on. Well, once again, congratulations on second win in as many races, and best luck to you next week at VIR.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone.
Right on. And that was overall winner and pro winner Brendan Egerchek. And now we have JP Costa standing by with open category winner Sean Knight.
So Sean, I hope you can hear me. That was a fantastic first stint by you. Talk us through that start. You know, you just got an absolutely perfect start already. When is turn one lead? And just talk us through what happened.
Well, I don't really know, to be honest. I was expecting to qualify maybe like 6th or 7th. I was practicing on the track with all the settings for this race, and I was getting like 219s, 220s, and I felt that was really slow. And then after qualifying second with 219, I was pretty surprised. And I guess right off the start, I just kind of did what I was doing and saw I had a gap. Eventually they caught up, but I didn't need to race them, right? So I kind of just let them by and realized no one behind me was open class, so I kind of started to relax a little bit and just tried to stay on track for the rest of it.
Yeah, perfect. And then obviously Christopher Bailey was, I guess, your closest competitor on the open class. And obviously on the first lap, as they head into kind of the corner, they had a bit of contact, and Christopher was just sent off outside of the race, let's say. What was your reaction to that crash? Did you see it happening on the mirrors, or did you just, realize that later on in the race?
I didn't know what happened. I saw like a car basically come in torpedoing. I don't know what happened. I didn't know who was who. I was just glad I wasn't involved and kept going. And yeah, I had one issue. I started overheating my car at one point, so I wasn't sure what was causing that. But thankfully the light went off and I was able to just continue on. But I didn't know what happened. I'm going to have to watch the replay and see. But it definitely felt really close. I felt it right behind me.
Yeah, it was extremely close to taking you out as well. And obviously you led, I guess, 6 laps, 7 laps. How did it feel to lead? And obviously you just kept pulling away at some point out of every single pro driver. How did it feel to be the fastest man on track?
It felt really good, and it was a huge surprise. I'm not sure that'll happen again this series, but I'll definitely take my 5-6 laps up front for sure.
And finally, what was your decision? Why did you kept going after everybody pitted? Why did you go on a longer first stint instead of just like responding to everybody else?
I had the fuel. I like to. I kind of judge my stints by my fuel. I'm pretty new. I started iRacing in September, so the less I have to think about the better. So I still had a couple laps of fuel, or a lap or two, so I just decided to stay out because I had the fuel for it.
Perfect. And obviously on the second stint, it was a quiet stint. Obviously you just had a bit of a gap to Dustin and a massive gap to Charlie behind, and that landed you P5 overall, and obviously your win. So well done, congratulations, and I hope to talk to you again next week.
Yes, thank you very much.
VIR? Have you driven it
no,
yet?
I haven't studied it at all or anything, so it'll be interesting. I'll probably take a look tomorrow.
Well, I wish you the best of luck next week, and do you have anyone to thank?
I just want to thank my wife for letting me practice as much as I do, and Operation Motorsport. I volunteer with them, and they're awesome, really supportive, and obviously Pit Stop and all my friends. I don't know who showed up this week, but last week I had a lot of friends show up, and all my good friends, and they watched me race, and I just want to thank all of them.
Yeah, great. I'm sure they're all happy to see you talking to us, winning your class, and well done. Thank you for talking.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was Sean Knight, the winner of the open class, and we're gonna talk to Theo. Actually, Emerson's gonna talk to Theo.
Rock on, and Theo Brolsema, what a race for you, and what a race there at the end. First, I guess talk about the end in that battle with Brock Hogan. Go for it, detail for detail, the pressure, and then the battle.
Well, I figured it was going to be a very hot day, so I had always planned on taking tires, all 4, in the pit stop. And I was looking around. Before going into the stop, I realized, okay, I'm 5 or 6 seconds up. I'm pretty sure I'm okay. And then after he came out of the pits, he was 5 seconds ahead, and I realized, oh, he didn't take tires. So I had to push pretty hard to catch him, and then the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 laps, I was trying to be patient, just play it out. He's going to make a mistake. And then he made a mistake, and I got by him, and we were side by side for a couple times, and it was just, very, very close race.
It looked fun, Van. I was talking about before the pit stop. You're up there in the thick of it with pro drivers. How are you feeling being up there with Shane Hunter and David Levine and really, giving it your all? And I think you were up there with open driver Jacob Williams as well. How does that feel for you behind the wheel? And then are you even thinking about that during the race? Or are you just seeing car and have to pass car?
Oh, I'm not thinking about it too much. I try to let it go to my head. I just hit my marks and try to draft and keep with him as much as I can. But yeah, it's always kind of in the back of your mind, like, where are the other beneficiaries? Are they 5 cars up and I can't see them, or are they 5 cars back? And what's the gameplay here? So definitely the practice is starting to pay off, and I switched to a VR headset, and I think that's really paying off. Like, there's no way I would have been able to get through that turn 5 incident on a regular screen without being able to turn my head and see it. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, so we have 2 very, very fast and slipstream dependent tracks, and next week we're at VAR. How do you feel about that?
That's definitely not my favorite track. I managed to do this one without crashing out in the bus stop or like the kink, which is a big improvement from last year, but I still haven't improved my VAR times very much since last year, so we'll see how it goes. I'll just keep putting in the practice and see if I can get my setup dialed in and hope for the best.
Rock on. Well, who do you have to thank, or who do you have to shout out for your beneficiary class win and the great run you had today?
Definitely everyone around for keeping it clean, good clean racing, and it's just a ton of fun to be doing this. Thank you to Jason again for putting everything together, and Opmo for all their continued support, and for everyone else watching on the stream. My girlfriend's sitting there watching me, so yeah, I had my headset on so she couldn't do the fuel calcs for me this evening, but yeah, thank you.
Rock on. Thank you. And congratulations on your beneficiary class win, and best luck to you next week at VAR.
Thank you. See you next week.
Rock on. And that was Theo Brosima, and what a guy. I mean, I love talking to everybody in this series, and the beneficiaries, man, they are so happy just to be here. And I think that makes us, 10 times better, is the joy that these people have in coming and doing this each week. Already with the meaning behind Operation Motorsport is great in itself, but again, just getting to do this every week and getting to be around these people every week is a great feeling.
Yeah, exactly. It's very inspiring. It's kind of a simple thing, just sim racing, but just brings everybody together, everybody that likes one mutual thing, and everybody can just enjoy it together. And it's just, as you said, just hearing from these guys, they're so thankful and they're happy to be doing this, just brings out the competitive state in all of us. And it's very exciting to be up here commentating and seeing everybody happy and having a good time.
That's for sure. Well, let's see how this all shakes out when it's all set and done. Round 2 in the books, and it is Brandon Egerchek going 2 for 2 after round 2. Chris Walsh comes home second after the thrilling last lap dive and attempt to try to take the lead. Man, if only it would have stuck, what kind of a drag race we could have had to the line. But nonetheless, Chris Walsh comes home second. Tyler Langenberg third. Dustin Burkhalter fourth. Sean Knight, the open class winner and the first non-pro driver in the standings, 5th place. He'll be ahead of pro driver Charlie Bass. Trevor Hill, open driver, coming home second in that class. David Levine, 8th overall. Christopher Bailey, 9th overall in that open category. And Jacob Williams, 10th in the open category, 4th.
Finishing up P11, Shane Hunter on the pro class finishes up P11. Theo Brosima, the winner of the beneficiary class, finishes P12. Brock Hogan finishes P13. Hunter Reeve finishes P14. John Winker in 15th place. Travis Hill in 16th. Brian Winker in 17th. Jay Gleason in 18th. Callum Belden in 19th, and the number 22 of Jason Leach in P20.
Yeah, Jason had a crash there on that final lap, and unfortunately made some TV time on that final lap, not in a good way. Rounding out the back of the field here, 21st, Rodney Campbell will be 1 lap down over Glenn Gray, 22nd. Couple open class drivers, 21st, 22nd. They have a couple beneficiaries, Justin Jarrett, Tim Bernard. They're here for it. Come home 1 lap down, 23rd, 24th. Paul Lindsay, 25th. Brian Burkhart, 26th. And that's going to round out the grid for today's race here at Road America, the Operation eMotorsport Winter 2021 round number 2 on the season. And at the very least, we have to shout out our Whiplash partners. We meant to do it during the race, but of course, your picture, your music, and you provide the image that you want, the Tucson Sound Art, and they will custom create a beautiful framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker with sound art. You get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for more info, and make sure you use promo code PITSTOPTV, all caps, all one word, at checkout and receive 10% off of your purchase. Have you ever wanted to have a race engineer on speed dial? Well, now you can, thanks to RacePace, a driver development service and setup shop all in one. Work with Tyler, a real-world race engineer, to step up your game before your next race. Pick up the pace with RacePace. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bollier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text them at 207-358-8683. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine a call today to book a consultation. And of course, Pit Stop TV's new parent organization, Whiplash Media, specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, offering services such as photography, social media management, and public relations. Make sure you go to Whiplash-Media for more. And of course, once again, we'll shout out the Operation Motorsport partners. With Recaro, an ergonomic seating position means a comfortable position. With perfect seat contours and innovative features that support your body, Recaro Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or the racetrack. Recaro Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. Recaro Automotive is proud to support Operation Motorsport's iRacing series. And since day one, Mobil 1 Advanced Synthetic Motor Oils have been a part of every Corvette racing win. That tradition continues with the new mid-engine Corvette C8R. Today, Mobil 1 Racing 0W50 protects the next generation of America's sports cars on the track, while Mobil 1 Advanced Synthetic Oil is still found under the hood of every Corvette off the track. No matter where the hood of your Corvette is located, it's always been Mobil 1 from day one. Mobil 1 is the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand. The Corvette Racing C8R is now available on iRacing for anyone looking to indulge on the exhilarating mid-engine performance of the C8R in the virtual world. And of course, we cannot say enough about what makes this all happen and why we're all here. Operation Motorsport, a veteran-led, non-profit foundation based in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Brighton, Ontario. It was founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, empower. Its mission: to engage through motorsport activities ill and injured service members and disabled veterans affected by military service, leading to the aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. For more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org. And yeah, make sure you tune into the upcoming races this week. We have the Bluegrass iRacing Series, race number 10 on that season, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The Magic Mile that just should be classified as a short track, as it drives like one, just over the criteria for a short track. Make sure you tune in Friday night with LTAC Racing will be at Sonoma for left and right corners of the Northern California circuit. Next week, next Monday, the BRP iRacing series is back at it again with the Knox Hill Raceway, and will continue the Monday doubleheader with the Pacific GT3 Series race at Laguna Seca. And make sure you tune in next Tuesday night for the Operation eMotorsport Winter 2021 season, race number 3 on the season at the Virginia International Raceway. That's going to conclude our coverage for tonight of the Operation eMotorsport Winter 2021 season, round number 2 at Road America. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for joining us in tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Make sure you tune in again next Tuesday night, VIR. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/pitstoptv, on Twitter. Follow us at pitstoptv_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1. For all of us at Pit Stop TV, JP Costa with me on the mic this evening, Corey Rexford on social media. I'm Emerson Arden. Make sure if you want to join the Pit Stop TV crew, you email Andrew at pitstoptv.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas, and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.